Hi friends, welcome to our channel Pragya Bhumi. Today in this video we are going to discuss about a very important topic, New National Education Policy 2020. Since this topic is very important, I have posted the same video in Tamil. The link is given in description. If this is the first time you are visiting our channel, click on the subscribe button. Come on friends, let's get to know about the policy in detail. Let's start this video by having a very brief introduction about new national education policy. This policy was approved by the Union Cabinet on 29th July 2020. This policy is expected to bring in changes to the existing Indian education system. Before getting to know about the features, let's have a little bit of historical background about this policy. Once, when India got independence in 1947, the first educational minister was Abul Kalam Azad. He formed many commissions. Among that, one commission was called as Kothari Commission. That was set up in the year 1964. In the year 1964 to 66, the Kothari Commission made many analysis and they recommended a policy. So, in 1968, Indira Gandhi, Prime Minister of that time, brought in the first national policy on education. Years after that, in 1986, when Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India, at that time national education policy was brought in. And after that, in 1992, few changes were made to the policy. National education policy was brought up in 1986. After long 34 years, a new national education policy is brought in. So this is considered as a major reforming policy that has brought to bring in changes to the education system. This 2020 national education policy was the poll promise of 2014 elections. Initially, this policy was submitted as a draft in December 2018 by a panel headed by former ISRO chief K. Kasturi Rangan. After that, after 6 to 7 months in May 2019, that draft was made public and open for feedback. So at that time, many educationalists and many people gave feedback to this particular draft, and then the new educational policy was set up. That got its approval on 29th July 2020. Coming next, let's discuss about what are all the changes that have been made to school education, higher education, and the important focus of this policy. Starting with the important points pertaining to school education, major reforming change that has been brought in is the existing academic structure of 10 plus 2 years will be replaced with new academic structure of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. The existing academic structure had 10 years, that is from age 6 to 16, first to 10th standard, and after that 2 years, 11th and 12th standard, age 16 to 18. So this was in place till now. But the new academic structure that has popped up consists of 5 years, that is split up as 3 years and 2 years. 3 years in Anganwadi or preschool. There the child will receive fun-based learning, and after that in class 1 and 2, age 6 to 8, the child will receive the same type of fun-based or play-based learning. So that 5 years will lay the foundational stage for the child. And next, coming on to the next 3 years, age 8 to 11, that is class 3, 4 and 5. It is the preparatory stage for the child. At that time also, child will experience fun-based or play-based and even activity-based learning. Moving on to the next 3 years, age 11 to 14, class 6, 7 and 8. This is a very turning point for the child because the child can choose the subject which he desires to learn. One highlighted feature is it need not be alone the core academic subject. It can even be physical education or music or arts. In this way, the child can develop his talent in whichever field he desires to do so. So this is the middle stage for the child. Climbing up the ladder to age 14 to 18, class 9 to 12 comprises of 4 years. That is the secondary stage. During this stage, the student will have the flexibility to choose whatever subject he wishes to learn. He will also receive multidisciplinary learnings. So this is a very crucial part of a student's growth. So in this way, the existing academic structure will be replaced by this new academic structure, which is very really important for us to concentrate. Discussing about other points related to school education. First point is universalization of early childhood care, that is from age 3 to 6 by 2030. It will be brought up. And next, when talking about school education, language has always played a major constraint. So in this policy, they have introduced a 3-language formula, which means that the language can be chosen by the states, regions, or even the students they themselves. So basically, the student will not have any language imposition on them. They can choose the language whatever they desire to learn. And at all levels of school education and higher education, Sanskrit will be provided as an option. All other foreign languages like French and German will be considered as secondary level languages. Till class 5, the child can have his mother tongue as medium of instruction. Even this can be extended up to class 8, which will really facilitate the child for easy learning. Moving on to the next point, National Mission on Foundational Literacy and Numeracy will be set up by 2025. You may wonder what is this. A child in class 3 has to have ability to read, write and speak a language, and also he should be able to perform basic mathematical skills. So this mission will help the child in achieving those things. That is, it will help in getting the basic skills for the students. As I have already mentioned, from class 6, the students will have the flexibility to choose their desired subjects. Even in coding and occasional studies, whatever they want, they can choose. At 3 different classes, class 3, 5 and 8, there will be conducted assessments called as key stage assessment. The student will be assessed in different areas, how they perform in various skills. So this will really help in development of the child and explore the path whatever they want to achieve in the later point of their life. Coming on to the next point, the most curious thing, board exams. What are all the changes that have been brought to board exams? First thing is, board exams will be made much more easier. That is, there is no need to memorize the lessons by the students. The students will be tested based on their knowledge, how they understand the topics. Moving on to the second point, PARAK. A center will be established. The full form of PARAK is Performance Assessment Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development. This center will be particularly created to assess the performance of students, not only in core academics but for holistic development. That is, to assess the complete development of student in fields like critical thinking, manners, healthy social skills and hands-on lessons, how they perform in field. So this will help in the holistic development of the students. Next is a very interesting thing. Till now, we would have all seen a report card consisting only of marks and ranks. But according to this policy, report cards will be given in a comprehensive manner based on the skills and capabilities of the students. And one more interesting thing is incorporated here, that is 360 assessment, which means that the student has to assess himself, that is self-assessment, and his friends, that is the peer group will assess that particular student, and his supervisor, that is his teacher, will assess the student. So likewise, 360-degree assessment will be made by which each and every minute details about the student will be captured, and it will help in the growth and development of the child. So basically, it will emerge as a multi-dimensional report. And even in the future, many redesigns can be made to include modular or semester-wise board exams. Based on the difficulty level of the subjects, separate exams for objective and descriptive questions can be given. Highlighted thing is, up to 2 exams can be taken. That is, one is the main exam which a student will take along with the other students. And another thing is an improvement exam. If he desires to write an improvement exam, that can also be done. So only up to 2 exams can be taken by a particular student. Moving up to the next stage of life, higher education. Here they have mentioned as UG, undergraduate, as 3 or 4 years. First point is multiple exit doors for UGs. This is a very new option that has been creeped. That is, a student pursuing a degree can come out of that institution or degree at any point of time, and he can join that particular degree after some point of time or can transfer to any other institutions. This option is given. For this, if a student comes out of a degree in 1 year, he will get a certificate. In 2 years, advanced diploma will be given. In 3 years, degree will be awarded. If in 4 years he comes after completion, degree will be given along with an additional option called as degree with research. That is, if a student does a research in his area or in his field, he will be given degree with research. But the preferable year is as usual 3 or 4 years with additional options given. To facilitate this multiple exit doors, academic bank of credit will be set up. This bank, they will digitally store the credits earned by the students, and it will facilitate in transferring the credits to other institutions if a student discontinues a particular institution and opts to join another institution. One important thing is MPhil, Master of Philosophy courses will not be there here afterwards. That is, it will be totally eliminated. Regarding the fee fixation for private and public institutions, a regulatory framework will be set up. Over the next 15 years, affiliation will be removed. That is, no colleges will be affiliated. Either they will turn into an autonomous college or constituted under an university. So these are the highlighted points pertaining to school education and higher education. Yes, we have come to the important part of the video. That is the main focus of national education policy. Before seeing that, I would like to highlight an important point. Till now, the central and state government has made a public spending of 4.43% of GDP on education. But in order to achieve all these mentioned things in the new national education policy, the spending has to be increased to 6% of GDP. Starting with the first main focus of national education policy is digital drive. We can literally see that everything is changing into a digitalized manner. So even education has to be done so. We will be seeing about what are all the features that has related to digital drive. Second is an important focus known as inclusion. Inclusion means that each and every child in the nook and corner of the country has to be brought into the education system. For that also many points has been added up, which we will be discussing. Starting with the first focus, digital drive. Henceforth in education, technology will play a main role. But how this technology will be used? In what all ways can we use this technology to enhance the learning process? So those ideas can be shared in the National Education Technology Forum that will be established in the future. When we talk about technology, the students in urban areas will have more access to technology, but not the students in the rural areas. They will not have the access. So, to bridge this gap, a dedicated unit will be set up in the Education Ministry for creating digital infrastructure so that students in all areas will have the same access to digital to technology. Third point is to improve the classroom processes and classroom learning. Integration of technology will be made. Even the teachers has to be well equipped with this technology. So they should have a basic training how to use the technology to facilitate learning for students. Talking about the second main focus of national education policy, inclusion. First point is it aims to double the gross enrollment ratio. That is, the number of people who are opting into the educational institutions will be double by 2035 in higher and occasional education. Second is an interesting topic, special educational zones. Consider a region where people are both socially and economically backward. The students or children there, they will have an aspiration to learn and they will not have facilities as expected. So those regions will be grouped as special educational zones and facilities will be provided accordingly. Third is the Gender Inclusion Fund. This fund will be allotted by the central government to give similar education to female students and even the transgender students. Infrastructure facilities will be made to address this gender inclusion problems. Fourth point is meritorious students in the category of SC, ST and OBC, they will be given scholarships in order To facilitate this process easily, national scholarship process will be set up which will support the scholarship process and even track the progress of scholarship status. By doing all these things, inclusion will be achieved, which means that all the students, even in the rural areas, will be covered under the educational system and they will receive the similar education compared to the students in urban areas. In this video, we have discussed about a very important topic, new national education policy. All the changes that has been brought in is very much important. If you find this video useful, click on the like button and share it with your friends. First time visiting our channel, do click on the subscribe icon.